Thank you for joining us for another episode of Twinfluence, where Dr. Mina Blazy and I come and talk to you about all things AI, things we've discovered, things we've learned. So I'm going to start with a question for our audience. So whether you're watching this live, whether you are watching the replay, whether you are listening to this on a podcast, are you using AI? So we want to hear from you, whether it's via email, whether it's in the live feed. Are you using AI? And then my next statement is whether you are using it or not, it is here to stay. Now, do I think one day, we'll have a 90-day relief of the internet? I think is coming for real. But right now in the United States, I can say we're seeing the move fast and break it method, if you know what I'm
Right.
saying. So AI is probably going to be a part of that conversation. And so the reason why I'm saying, and I'm challenging you, whether you're a real estate agent, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in the education space, whether you are in the private sector, the public sector, am I saying that,
Yeah.
correctly without, making anybody stressed? You need to Now is a good time for you to learn artificial intelligence, and we're a good place to learn. So Mina, what is something, we were having a conversation before we started recording about how an aha moment that you had in AI. So go for it.
Okay. So my aha moment was most of us go to Google, like you want to go to a restaurant, you might go on your phone, like, or whatever it is. You might even go to like Yelp and just try to research a restaurant or something to do. And so I'm just gonna say it, I have a new boyfriend and we were trying to go mountain biking. And it's in my area instead of like where he lives. And I was like, he was Googling, looking up some things. And then there's an app called Trails, like hiking and cycling. And it wasn't giving me what I wanted. So I don't go to Google anymore. Went to ChatGPT, typed it in, and it did something for me. Like we've talked about AI partnerships, being like a buddy, like this brainstorm buddy. But this time I realized that it took all of these things and put it together. And I'm looking at this because it was like having a room of executives or a room of people in a team gave grabbed all these ideas because they were on Google and somebody else was on some other search engine and someone was here and somebody just knew everything because they were an expert in cycling, and it gave me not just everything I needed to know, but it gave me what people were saying. Like, what were the reviews? Is this a hard trail? Is this a mild, moderate, or like easy trail? And I was like, this wasn't just a collaboration, it was a team effort. And I'm going to call it the funnel effect because
Oh,
it
okay. Wait a
grabbed it
minute. Write that down.
all. And it was like,
The
right. And it made it so concise. I'm looking at this right now and it got scattered it honed in on the scattered thoughts. It did all the research and perspectives and it made it clear, concise, and then actionable. Because not only did we find some places to go, we went to two trails. So, you think of grabbing all this and the ending story to it. I was able to ride for a few hours yesterday, get some good exercise, and this was like my second time doing it. But it wasn't hard. You know how you like, I want to do something, and by the time you do all the research, you're like, forget it, I can't. You spent 2 hours trying to figure out how to figure it out. I, it figured it out for me, and it was like just bam, it was all there.
so what's interesting is I actually still go to Google. And maybe I'll rethink that after today. But I have on my mobile device easily, I have all of my AI apps in one place. But on my phone, yeah, I still go to Safari pretty quickly. So I still go to Safari on my iPhone, but on my computer, I typically go to Google first. But even when I'm in the passenger seat of the car and or somebody asks me a question, I go to Google. So what I got out of what just changed for you was is I can this is first of all, this is what I do. Um,
That's funny. Uh-huh.
I actually I go to Google and I look something up, but then when I'm not getting the information I want, I take what I found and I go to ChatGPT. So I was doing it the other way. And the reason why I like to go to Google first is because I'm getting everything that it's finding, but I could see the value of the team effect. Because, you were saying, your AI buddy working with a partner. But and so Mina, I feel like by the end of this year, you'll have a whole series, your AI buddy, although I am teaching it this month to the membership. Um, I think, a new part of the series is the funnel effect or being able to take ChatGPT to a new level. Where there's ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google Gemini, Copilot, it can actually help you work smarter because the concept of being able to think deeper. So let me give you an example of what I might do. So many people know that Mark is now working with two other agents, another agent in the United States and another agent in Mexico on selling land in Mexico. And so even yesterday, because it has changed my life. Mark knows how to change my day and my life. Because some of you, and just let me make it real relevant. I know that if I don't have a checklist, it's not getting done. So there's the checklist, right? I need to flip that. Why am I backwards? So it's gonna so bug me. Video settings, mirror. Is it there we go. So I'm
I can see it. It's
unmirrored.
doing just fine. I can see it the way you see it.
You still, if I do this,
I
it's
see
fine.
care mark checklist. Like
This is fine.
it's fine.
Okay, great.
It's
So
not backwards.
not backwards for you. Okay, great. So this is how I work. So Mark can easily change my day in real time. But what I realized is in my line of work. So I own a brokerage in Illinois and Florida. You know that we have agents. I'm also a licensed real estate agent, but I'm an instructor. Like that is what I love to do. So what I am doing is I rewatched the presentation that was given around Mexico. I got about 15 more minutes to go and I've got all my notes and I'm going and so I have all of my notes here about the project in Mexico. Like I hand wrote all of this. So I'm going to take all of this and put it into AI, but also because I'm Googling to look at the maps for the states where Cancun is, where some of the other projects are, because clearly I am not as educated as I should be on Mexico. I've been to Mexico since the 90s, but it's almost like when you come from a country, although I should say when you're in the United States, we don't study other countries like other countries study us.
Oh, mm,
So, in what I want to do is not just because Mark is selling the land in Mexico. I want to learn because I have two kids that are fluent in Spanish. In the city that I live in, 80, you said, Mina, you did the research. 82% of the kids speak Spanish first. I know the history of the city that we live in and why so many people came from Mexico. I want to do the I want to have more of a story based on how I've been going to Mexico, but I also want to know more about not just the culture, but about the states and the cities. Because I know we have 50 states in the United States. I know that we have territories, and I know where I go. Tulum, Playa del Carmen, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo San Lucas. I know what I know, but it's only based on where I've been. But I want to be more proficient. So I'm Googling it. So now what I want to do is not just Google it, I want to take it over to ChatGPT with the maps and learn more about the different cultures in these different areas. So I felt like what you just said took what I'm already doing to a new level because I can take my photos of my notes and add it to ChatGPT with the maps and work better and smarter.
and so I'm glad you said it that way because what I do in all of the meetings that I hold, what we do is we do all these collaboration boards. Like if you go into any of our meetings in the school district that I work in, the directors, we have all these boards around the room. And sometimes we put up that sticky big white paper and we'll chart and create these thinking process maps. And we're trying to figure out how to figure out. One of the things that I love about my school district, at least at the leadership level, we promote using ChatGPT. Like there is no question about it. And we will, in the middle of a meeting, be like, I'm going to ChatGPT. And we will take what everybody's thoughts are, pictures, throw it into ChatGPT. And wait a minute. And all of us will put it in and have our own prompts and then say, well, this is what I came up with. And then, I mean, the things that I have watched directors come up with, where in a previous district, it was like frowned upon and thought about as cheating. Oh my gosh, it's doing everything for you. Well, like
And
I'm
you
just
say
gonna.
why? And you said, can you? They thought that it felt like cheating because you were taking everybody's information, or they just
But
thought you shouldn't be
I'm what
doing.
people believe that it's you're not using your own brain. It's like they believe it's the devil himself. Like it is that profound. They're like, it's going to stop you from thinking. Well, if that's the case, every time we had automation, every time I have Google search, every time something is done for me that makes my life easier, then I guess I'm not using my brain. But here's what it is doing. What we realize is that every time you use it, it's helping you organize yourself and make you better at something and not helping you. It's removing, mitigating, and making things more clear so that you can focus on the things that are necessary
Wait a minute.
and
Removes the things, removes the clutter. What did you say?
removes the noise, removes the what's the word I'm looking for? The scattered information. It removes the clutter so that it so that you can focus on the necessary things. And I think we forget really quickly that Google isn't just something that is something we go to and like it's magic. The kids that were born today will never know a world without ChatGPT. Remember back in the day, we'd be like, the kids today will never know a world without Google because it was there. And even in education, they'd be like, oh, the kids are going to use Google and cheat and copy, cut, and paste. Well, they're going to figure out how to use it to make themselves better and smarter. Because I'm telling you, if I had ChatGPT back when I was in high school, I would have been a better writer then instead of a better writer now. I mean, I'm a good writer, but there's this belief that you write it once and it's perfect. That is a lie. That is a myth that people don't realize. People write things over and over and over again. And every professor that I've had that's a writer says that we take information and we rewrite it and we make it better. ChatGPT will do that for you. So why am I wasting my time when I could be doing something else? Like, I don't know, getting on a mountain bike and having a good old time for a while.
So, what's interesting is for those of you, I'm convinced that I'm ADD but never diagnosed. And
What
so
is
when I
that?
was in high school, Mina,
As
hold
my
on, I'm about to tell you what this is.
that's my ADD moment. Like, ooh, squirrel.
Girl. So when I was in high school and I hated English because I felt like it was a lot of work. Um, Although I did get credit for 101 and 102 in college for English, go
Me too.
figure.
You helped out with that.
So when one day I went home and I had written a paper and it was just ripped to shreds. And so over time, especially in college, I realized that I should just write, and then I would go back to my written work and I would break out my highlighters. Now you really feel like you need this, right? I would break out my highlighters and I would highlight based on what went together. So as a writer, I would reorganize based on the color and where it should be. Because everybody would say, right, beginning, middle, and the end. And I was like, okay, beginning, middle, and end. What did that really mean for me? And it was, I needed to color coordinate. And it made it more fun for me because it made me focus. And so highlighters was what it was. So now,
In high school,
well, actually, it happened in college for me. But I would go home and mommy would help me with my writing because I was just all over the place. But even the teachers didn't realize that had they said, okay, Carrie, I don't, you're all over the place. They did, they didn't help me fix it. But had I had ChatGPT, now, even though we have squirrel moments in our conversation, I can now write in Evernote and have ChatGPT reorganize it in a flow that makes sense because it gets rid of the, what did you say, the noise, the clutter, the scattered info, so you can focus on the necessary.
Right.
That, and I wrote all that down.
So, okay, I want to address what you just said about the highlighters. Um, what you did is organize your brain with highlighters, and had you had known about what I'm about to tell you, there is a program in education called Step Up to Writing,
Step
and
up to writing in
they
education.
teach
Step up.
children how to write using color highlighters. Green, I had to look it up. Green is this signifies the topic sentence introducing the main idea. Yellow represents the reasoning, facts, or details, RFD. And
So
then
you're
red,
telling me that somebody took my idea and got
yeah,
paid?
yeah, red denotes the elaboration or explanation, providing further insight. And then green used to again to restate the main idea. Again, the point is I'm looking at the Cal State universities that talk about it and use it. We use it in education. We use it. I watch teachers use it. There's other ones that you use. And what it does is over time you wean students and children off of it, but our brains don't do things in isolation. Like we don't just learn to read. We don't just learn to write in isolation. But the problem with education, and even the business world sometimes, is that we think everything's in isolation. Like finances over here, and the think tanks over here, and the marketing's over here, but they should all be in the same room, aka ChatGPT, because they're all in the same room at the same time. Ooh, write that down. So ChatGPT brings everybody in the same room because ChatGPT is like a room for me. It's like an office space that I get to go to and be a part of. Please write that down. I'm gonna need that later.
You're gonna have to
Um,
write that down because I don't. I'm still on the last statement.
but the
I'm
point is,
ChatGPT brings everyone in to the room. This is called writing with a pen at
and
the same
it,
time. Now, what was the other statement?
it I don't even know, but we have this recorded. So somebody could write that in the chat and be like, this is what you said. But I think that we don't realize that we don't do things in isolation. I think that's what I was pointing out. And even in education, we tend to, when you said that the teacher ripped your paper apart, do you know that university professors, and I mean master's degree professors and doctorate of education and doctorate of philosophy professors, they actually read your paper, will sit with you and say, these ideas are amazing. Now, how can we make it flow so it goes through, so that it's easy for the reader that's reading it? You know what you mean, but how do you give it access to other people? Had your professor or teacher or high school told you that? You wouldn't. So we feel bad about our writing because teachers back in the day were taught, let me use this red pen, make you feel bad about yourself. Let me make myself
Oh, I
feel better
hate the
about
red
myself.
pen. I had a
And
managing
no one
broker
should
that
ever
would give me
grade
my
in red
sales, Mina.
pens.
I would have my a managing broker in real estate give me my sales, and he would have sad faces. And I went to him one day. If I
Don't
said
use
his name and he
red.
worked for the same brokerage you because he's still there, I went to him and I said, "Stop doing this." I said, "Stop making it awful that I'm not selling because you know I instruct. Why don't you go and say, Carrie, this is awesome that you did this many. I think you could do more as an instructor by doing this." I had to tell him about himself.
So that's just it. First of all, no one should ever use red because red is a memory color. If you're going to use something other than highlighting, underline in red. It's a memory color. And teachers that use red, please stop. Please stop. Um, and secondly, you should be telling people what they're doing well. And then people know the answers to their own questions. And if they don't, go ask ChatGPT. But the reason why I
Do
say,
we? Do we know the answers to
yes,
our
let
own
me give you an
questions?
example. Had the teacher or the professor or the business partner said, I really like all this. What is another way you could do this to make it flow? And the reason why I say that is because just like in mathematics, you have that one teacher that goes from A to Z and they forget all the middle part. Your brain does that to you. Everybody's brain, you know what you're thinking. So sometimes like I'll skip words because my brain is from I'm going from here to here
I'm
like
telling you, I
your
have
son.
really had to go back and reread everything because I skip words, the unnecessary words often.
Well,
That's
that's
what AD.
normal. Did you know that the people who are speed readers get rid of what we call the article words at, the, is, a? My point is that when we write or when we think from A to Z. We don't think all the letters of the alphabet. So when that happens, when we are collaborating, when we think, that ChatGPT gives us all the middle part that we missed.
Hmm.
I'm just saying. Anyway,
So, but that to me is the value of, when we started this conversation this morning or this afternoon or whenever you're watching, it's really this evening, right? When we started this conversation, it was how can we have a conversation around what we're currently doing? And when you brought up how you are using AI more than a buddy, you have switched to team, and then you gave the example of how you took everybody in the room. I think as real estate agents, with teams or without teams, you can work faster, you can work smarter, you can work with some intelligence, and we can get rid of what we're not doing, or we can work faster. Because you should see me talking to Mark, and I'm like, Mark, what are you talking about? He was like, I'm like, you just had a whole listening
you had a whole
session in
thought.
your in you heard something, and I'm missing some things. Sometimes we just share what we want you to what we think you need to know because we think you are privy to the entire conversation. No. So being able to
So,
pull all of that information in and throw it into ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini or Perplexity or whatever your
so are
fancy.
you saying like the Matrix? If you just upload it right here, I would get it.
Right. Don't You're not uploading anything, but out but this is what ChatGPT is. It is the matrix for real.
Oh, anyway.
Right.
All right.
You're
So
not moving fast enough.
I think
So
that's a lot for just a lot to unpack. And hopefully people will even revisit this because I'm going to have to rewatch this myself. Because I just did I need an emoji for my own brain right now. Just saying.
but what's great about all of this is in the world of AI, you and I are
What?
using it every single day. So let me start. Let's end this way. I asked the question at the beginning, are you using AI? So we want our question is to all of you, are you using it? And then the next statement is if you're not, figure out how you can add it to your daily work. So Mina, what are your takeaways from the conversation today? And yeah, go for it.
Basically use ChatGPT as I'm going to use my term, the funnel effect. Use it as a partner, use it as a one-to-one buddy, use it as a team, and then take everything that you have and stop just going to Google. Upload it, take pictures of it, and then just say, help me with this. And if you don't know what to say, just say, I don't know what to say. Help me with some questions so that I know what I'm doing.
And what I got out of this is bring everyone into the room. So if you're having a conversation or you're in a meeting and people have different ideas, someone could be the note taker, someone could be the scribe. You can take AI and bring the entire conversation together and you can work smarter. As a real estate agent, I would say everything that you're thinking of, everything that you want to do, whether it's the success in real estate, whether it's reaching your goals, take everything you want to do and use AI. And my third takeaway would be is if you, because I have a checklist. Let's say you're getting stuck with your checklist and you're not finishing. I would say go to AI and say, this is how my week went. This is my checklist. Where am I getting distracted? What's happening? How can I get back on track? So I'm Carrie Little. I am a managing broker of Caremark Realty Group in Illinois and Florida. And Mark is also selling land in Mexico. If you don't know me, follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, and make sure you join me on YouTube. I am Carrie, Carriejo little everywhere.
And I'm Dr. Mina, and you can follow me on YouTube at MJ Be Lazy. Don't really be lazy. Go over to ChatGPT and have it do it for you. Make the beat get a little bit better. And then everywhere else, Mina JBLAZY.
So thank you for watching Twinfluence, and we look forward to seeing you